This meeting is now being recorded.
Welcome. My name is David Goldis. I'm the publisher of Frequent Business Traveler, and I'd like to welcome everybody to Smart Tools for Corporate Travel Managers, sponsored by Kira Media Group and Lounge Buddy. Today we're going to look at some burning issues that impact corporate travel, the corporate traveler, and the corporate travel manager. Our focus is on tools that keep people informed, productive, connected, and knowledgeable while both traveling and managing corporate travel. A couple of administrative issues. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end of our meeting, so please save your questions to the end. And we'd like to have you take a short poll before we start. Sorry, we're just having some administrative issues here. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce the poll later. So let's go on with our first presenter. Here to look at some of the issues under a microscope is Frequent Business Traveler's editorial director, Jonathan Spira, who is also head of Akira's research arm. Jonathan?
Thank you, David. I just need my slides, and I'm ready to go. Great. Well, first, thank you very much, David, and thank you, everyone, for joining us on what, incredibly enough, is the 1st of July. Very happy to have you here, and let's get into it. So one of the things, well, 5 of the things we're going to cover today, we're going to look at cost control, productivity, compliance and policy adherence, risk management and travel safety, and some general issues. Given the time we have today together, we're not going to go and do a deep dive on any of these, but if you have any questions whatsoever afterwards, please don't hesitate to contact me. But I'd like to start off, I travel a lot, as my colleagues here at Akira Media Group and Frequent Business Traveler do, but I find I end up hearing a lot of things from business travelers who I meet either in a lounge or I'm sitting next to or some sort of random chance meeting. And this is what they are telling me. One person, this was about 2 months ago, said to me, I hate our corporate travel system, just kind of out of the blue. We were just not even talking about technology. And this was a content management director who worked for a large U.S. commercial bank. When I asked him specifically what he meant, he said that it just didn't work the way travelers needed to work, which I thought was a pretty good explanation. Another random but very telling comment was from the vice president of sales at an insurance firm who travels probably 4 times as much as I do. His comment was that his travel management company charges a fortune for doing very little. I'm not really sure that he's completely privy to how much they charge or how much they actually do, but if that's the impression, I can understand why people tend to bypass the TMC, thinking they're not doing very much to begin with. That's not the impression you want to leave your travelers with. A really interesting comment, which came very close to home was from a corporate travel manager at a pharma company who said he doesn't have, the company itself and his group don't have any way of keeping up with critical information about the important things he needs to know about, such as new airline routes and openings of hotels, things that impact their corporate travelers. So I just wanted to start off with that in terms of setting a kind of scene in terms of the type of information that people are looking for, the types of challenges corporate travel managers and business travelers see, and a general look at how corporate travel is viewed. So when it comes to cost control, this is from a short research poll we did about 3 months ago. These are the areas that companies tend to focus on. And clearly, air travel is very much at the top, followed by hotels and car rental. What I found interesting was some of the comments that went around the inability to negotiate best rates with suppliers. That seems to sort of be a black box because it's very hard to determine what a best rate is. And the impression I got when we spoke to people who took the survey was that it wasn't a question of negotiating the best rate. It was a question of feeling that they had done really well for their size and commitment with the suppliers they work with. They wanted to feel valued. They didn't necessarily, I mean, obviously everyone wants the best possible rate. Pardon me. But the real challenge was that they just didn't feel like a valued customer at that point. One of the challenges that corporate travel managers tell me they have is that when they don't have, when the travelers are not booking through the corporate travel system, they are losing a lot of insight into what's going on, especially in the relationships, which makes it hard to go to a Starwood, a Marriott, or Hilton, or Four Seasons and say, hey, we've had this many nights, and Four Seasons or Hilton or Marriott comes back, or Hyatt, and says, no, you've had this many nights, which is a far smaller number. That's a problem that several companies are trying to address. We'll talk about that more. And reporting tools, in an age of information overload, that tends to be a huge challenge for companies in terms of, first, getting the necessary information to float to the top and surface so they can act on it, and second, getting information to the various channels once it passes through corporate travel for further action. Those are the two things we're hearing there. One of the things I hear from business travelers, more so than from corporate travel managers, time and time again, is the issue of productivity. Unproductive downtime at airports, sitting in a hotel lobby waiting to check in because the room isn't ready, time spent on planes without Wi-Fi. How did we ever survive in tin cans without Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi in hotels that simply doesn't work or work well. We've all experienced that. Even today, when you think, okay, we've reached the bar where Wi-Fi will just work, that's just not the case at all. And every so often we run into other challenges. Insufficient or inaccessible electrical outlets are one of my favorites, that we can't charge the 230 devices we each travel with. So on the other hand, I've noticed some hotels, I was just at the St. Martin's Lane in London a few weeks ago, and in a renovated room, done quite nicely, and they have USB outlets next to each side of the bed, which I thought was brilliant. I've seen that at one or two other hotels, but people are finally interpreting what travelers, whether it's business travelers or just leisure travelers, need in the room and to keep productive and to keep connected. FOMA, fear of missing out, is a huge issue for people, whether it's on the business side or just keeping up with your friends. And again, information overload cost the U.S. economy $997 billion in the year 2010, according to research that's in my book, Overload, How Too Much Information is Hazardous to Your Organization. And it's really a challenge for people to keep up. We understand that. And that's one of the justifications for Wi-Fi in the air. That's one of the justifications for ubiquitous connectivity everywhere. But I will tell you, when I do speak from time to time on the topic of information overload, and when I ask the audience to hold up their phones and then to find the off button and to press the off button to turn the phone off, the look of horror on so many people's faces in the audience that they might be separated from their smartphone interface and communication with the outside world for a few minutes is priceless. I have to start taking pictures. One of the other things, of course, that we hear time and time again is compliance and policy adherence. My take on this is very simple. We're not giving business travelers enough of an incentive to provide 100% behavior, consistent behavior in this. And that is the biggest challenge that we have. The second challenge is that the tools we're providing the business traveler with are just so difficult to use that it is sort of a bypass that comes naturally to so many people. Previously, in other similar Smart Tools webinars that we've held, we've spoken with the people from Concur who make travel management, corporate travel management tools, and they've told us how they are working on solutions to link a hotel's reservation system, an airline's reservation system, into the corporate travel system. So even when people don't follow the right procedure, there's a good chance of capturing that information. Unfortunately, that's not on our schedule today. We have other great tools that we're going to look at, but I just wanted to mention that because that's a way of addressing that issue. It never ceases to amaze me, and I come from a Mac world and reasonably nice user interface, how unfriendly the user interface on so many systems continues to be. And I understand why. It's not easy to turn over to a new system. It's years and years of preparation, years and years of work. It's expensive, it's time-consuming, but ultimately, a non-user-friendly system will not generate the results that you want, and the investment, more and more often than not, will be so worth it that if you continue to offer your travelers a system that just doesn't match their expectations with other systems, you'll lose them. And core search tools, again, I don't want to dwell too much, or maybe I do, on information overload, but core search tools are just a huge challenge for us, and if you can't find the information you're looking for, there's simply no chance of anything else following naturally. If you can't find policies, if you can't find flights, if you can't find forms, if you can't fill out the form without it giving you errors, and these are all things we're hearing consistently from travelers and from corporate travel managers. And corporate travel managers tell me their hands are frequently tied. It's not that corporate travel managers want to have systems that are not best of breed. Everyone does. The problem is, A, finding best of breed systems, excuse me, and two, implementing them. There are so many things, however, that corporate travel managers are able to do in terms of improving the travel experience. We're going to try and cover that in our next Smart Tools webinar. That'll be a different topic than this one. But just to give a foreshadow of what's to come, the programs that smart corporate travel managers are introducing to make it easier for the business traveler when he arrives in a foreign city, when the business traveler has to find information out about the office he's working at, he's visiting the client, making the traveler feel at home, taking into consideration the fact that the corporate traveler, the business traveler, is giving up some of his personal life to be able to do the travel that needs to be done for work. All these things come into play, and when we next time talk to our corporate travel managers, I think it's going to be a really interesting discussion. Finally, risk management and travel safety issues. Obviously, in the news, there have been several recent terrorist attacks that targeted hotels, tourist areas, and that tends to be the type of stuff that nightmares are made of when you're a corporate travel manager. It's hard to keep up with everything you need to do, but non-compliance with corporate travel policy in terms of using the corporate travel tools so that the travel management team knows where people are. These are just tremendous challenges that can be easily resolved, and I think the greatest thing we can do is to look at how to take intermediate steps to bring about to bring this information in regardless of how the traveler books a flight, how the traveler books a hotel, and also, and this comes as a remarkable surprise to some travelers, educate the business traveler. More and more I get the feeling, especially for people who are first either entering the workforce or who are going from a non-travel position to a travel position, don't really understand why some of this is important. And while there are policies and procedures and manuals, and sometimes even there's information on the travel page in your corporate intranet, this is very, very, very difficult to find. So what we're hearing more and more is to bring this out of the woods and into focus. It gets to be a forest and trees type of thing, and bring this out to make this information more accessible. So that's my overview. David? David?
Thank you, Jonathan. So next up, we're going to look at some innovative tools that address some of the issues that Jonathan just covered. And they are Akira News for Enterprise, Lounge Buddy, and Expert Flyer. So Jonathan, back to you for Akira News for Enterprise.
Thanks. Thank you. Pleasure to be back. Slides, Mr. Slide Manager. While we're waiting for the slides to pop up, I'd just like to thank everyone again for taking the time to join us. I wish everyone a happy July. I know it's a short week. Concept of a Friday holiday can be frightening to some people.
It'll be just a moment, everybody.
And with that, one of the things I mentioned before was that multiple travel managers have told me that they simply don't have timely access to the information they need as it becomes actionable to find new hotels, new airline routes, new renovated hotels, changes in hotel management, reflagging, and so on that would help them do their jobs better. That's one of the things we're going to cover in the presentation David's opening. So we're going to take a look first at Akira News for Enterprise. Akira News for Enterprise is a flagship product of Akira Media Group. Taking the same information we use and publish in Frequent Business Travel, we've created tools that deliver actionable business travel news to your corporate portal and your business travelers in real time. We've designed the tool for companies with a large number of employees who travel regularly for work. That's the key, because to borrow from what the New York retailer Cy Sims used to say, an educated consumer is our best customer, our view is an educated business traveler is your best customer. So let me explain a little bit of the coverage that's in the Akira News product. We break it down into 4 categories: airline and air travel news. I'm not going to read the entire slide out loud, of course, but you can see here what's covered under that category. hotel news, general travel news, as well as reviews, destination pieces, and also research from our research group. Right now, by the way, we currently have our Hotel Pet Peeves research project underway, and if you go to frequentbusinesstraveler.com and have 3 minutes, we'd love to hear what your peeves about hotels are. It's a drag-and-drop one-question survey with about 18 peeves you organize in the order of how much they peeve you. To give you an idea of who reads the Acura News product, this is a representative list of companies. If you're not on there, perhaps you should be. I'd like to go over a few case studies as to what can be done with information such as what comes from the Acura News product. I tend to use an example of a large tech company in the Bay Area where until about a year ago, they continue to have 80 to 100 staff per month going San Francisco, Chengdu, China. Until about a year ago, they were stuck with having to send them through Singapore, Hong Kong, or another intermediate destination, which resulted in the trip taking 20 to 26 hours in each direction. The news of the nonstop by United Airlines from San Francisco International to Chengdu surfaced in the Acura News portal, and finding out about that was able to first cut down the average travel time from the 20 to 26 hours down to 14, and second, resulted in a fairly significant amount of savings on flight costs because the nonstop was actually significantly cheaper. So not only was this company able to give back a significant amount of time to each traveler, such as anywhere between 4 to 10 hours each way, which is a significant, percentage of the entire trip, but the company was able to save money at the same time. The Acura News product features a real-time business travel news feed, a web app, and an optional newsletter. I'm just going to briefly look at this. The news feed covers news as it happens. All the stuff that we listed in the category, it's delivered in a format that's easily digestible by your enterprise portal and content management system, and therefore can go from your systems to whatever desktop and mobile systems you currently use. Here's a look at a Make-Believe My Company portal. You can see where the business travel news widget is sitting. Very easy to do. And again, an educated business traveler is going to be your best customer. The web app, which I think is really cool, is designed for people who are in your position, travel managers, people who manage schedules for busy travelers, and people who need to keep track in procurement of what's going on. So rather than go through this, I'll show you a little bit of what it looks like. You can also try it out for yourself if you want. If you go to worldglobalair.com, that's our fake airline, and you click on the picture of the plane, it opens up a demo, which looks just like what you're looking at, and you can choose 6 topics that you want to cover, and you can use this and play with it as you wish. Ultimately, when companies subscribe to the Acura News product, they choose what's in the pull-down menus. In this particular case, we've selected 50 topics in the pull-down menu, which we thought would be most appealing to people. Here's a list of places where the web app comes in particularly useful for people. I think, what people typically think of travel management procurement, I know that probably at least 20 to 25% of all travelers are interested enough in travel to want to keep on top of stuff as well, and also the administrative assistants and executive assistants who have a lot of travelers whom they work for can monitor what's going on in both the companies that they use for travel as well as regions. Finally, we have an optional component called a newsletter. Yes, folks, it's called a newsletter. And this is something, first of all, if you already have an Acura News subscription, you can use the news in your own newsletter. It's an all-you-can-eat subscription. That's perfectly fine, but some people want to outsource the creation of an actual travel department newsletter to us, which we're happy to do. It'll comply to your CI standards. You can include your travel news policy updates as well, notices to travelers and so on, but ultimately it'll make it easy to facilitate getting you the news that you want to get out to your travelers. Here's an example of the newsletter that we publish from Frequent Business Travel Magazine, which goes to many thousands of people. I'm not sure of the exact number at this time, tens of thousands of people. So, and that's how ours looks, but the ones that go within corporations have a look and feel that tends to comply fully with that corporation's CI. So I just wanted to go through a small list of benefits. Appreciate your attention on this. First, insert the metal fitting into the buckle. No, sorry, wrong job. I think I've gone through most of this, but keeping up to date is critical. Trying to optimize your spend is something we hear time and time again from the travel managers we speak to on a regular basis. And also, again, involving the business traveler in the travel process by making travel information far more available is, I believe, the critical and largely ignored step to bringing order from chaos in the travel department and within the corporation. And raising awareness about what's less expensive and better is just smart. Another thing that I should mention is that we've seen that having good travel news and information in the corporate portal encourages employees to use the corporate portal more and brings people back into that, which in turn allows employees to more easily comply with policy by already being in the portal and hopefully completing their bookings there. And something we've seen in a few cases, a couple of very clever companies have used personalization within their systems to surface news on a destination or topic where it's appropriate, such as when the traveler is looking into booking that destination. So all in all, these are things that really come out of what the Acura News program can do. I'll leave you with a couple of comments. This is what people have had to say about Acura News. And we appreciate the very kind comments that people have given us. So thank you all very much for your attention. And David, back to you and our next presenter.
Thank you, Jonathan. Up next, we have Tyler Dickman, Lounge Buddy. Let me just get him set up, and we're ready to go.
All right, wonderful. Thanks very much for the introduction here. Hi, everybody. My name is Tyler Dickman, and I'm the CEO of Lounge Buddy. So when you think of the airport experience, I'm pretty sure some images come to mind, particularly some of these types of images, such as, am I going to get stuck in a line waiting to check my bag, or get stuck in a line for security, or stuck in a line just to be able to get my Starbucks latte before I board my flight? Or when I am stuck in the airport, am I actually going to be able to find a seat, whether it's at the gate area, if I'm lucky, or maybe at the food court where I can pull my laptop out, hoping that I'll dodge the 3 kids with 44-ounce sodas that will spill on my laptop if I'm not careful. Or, oh, my laptop battery is running low. Maybe I'll find a power outlet somewhere. The only place that, of course, there's a power outlet is on some dirty floor in the corner where you have to play Power Wars with 5 other people in order to get access to one of those outlets. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, this isn't just you. Just in the U.S. alone, there are 460 million business trips per year. Unfortunately, 60% of these trips have at least one layover in order to get to your destination. When you factor in the fact that the average international layover is 3 hours for flights, and the fact that 1 in 6 travelers have a major disruption in the form of a cancellation, a major delay, a misconnect, a diversion, an overbooking that results in no seat being available for you, or whatever it might be, you have a very significant chance of spending far more time in the airport than you ever planned on. Well, fortunately, this time spent in the airport doesn't have to be stressful or unproductive. Airport lounges really were designed around being able to make the most of your time here with facilities such as great business centers to be able to get some work done, places to be able to take a nap or freshen up with a nice warm shower, or just somewhere where you can grab a drink, grab a snack, feel like you're in an environment that isn't the airport, the typical airport experience, of course. Or most importantly, at least for me, and you know, I've flown close to 2 million miles myself, so I can certainly attest to this, just being able to have a comfortable seat that's private, that has a dedicated power outlet, strong Wi-Fi, a place for your drink, and a place to know that someone's not going to be looking over your shoulder, looking at sensitive data while you're getting work done. Well, this is where Lounge Buddy comes in. Lounge Buddy is that link between you, the traveler on your business trip, and being able to get into your airport oasis that's productive and stress-free, all in less than 60 seconds. This is how we do it. You download the app for iPhone or Android, completely free of charge. You can view airport lounges in airports all over the world, see photos, ratings, reviews, see exactly all the amenities that are inside each one of these fantastic facilities, see pricing as well. When you're ready to purchase, you simply tap Get Access Now. You get your payment screen. You can pay with a major credit card or Apple Pay, and you get your confirmation. And you walk right into that lounge. There's no advanced reservations required, no pre-bookings. All of this can be done in less than 60 seconds to get into your oasis. Also, I think it's important to note that you don't have to have any elite statuses, existing memberships, premium credit cards. You don't have to be flying in a premium class of service. This is available for all travelers, regardless of the airline you fly, or whether you're a very frequent traveler or a once-a-year type traveler. We have partners across the U.S., Canada, Western Europe, and Southeast Asia, as well as the Middle East. And for those travelers that already do have access to airport lounges, which is about 6% of the traveling population, and I'm sure some of the travelers that you guys represent already have access, Lounge Buddy is the one and only single resource for airport lounge information. We cover over 650 global airports. We have over 2,500 lounges in our system. And we also have over 40,000 lounge access rules baked in that can show you exactly which lounges are accessible to you based on those combination of elite statuses, memberships, premium credit cards, as well as your current trip. So for those travelers that may fly business class on occasion or may have elite status or American Express Platinum card, they can key in all those different details. We'll show them exactly which lounges they can get in, whether it's accessible on departure or arrival, the number of guests they can bring in, and of course, most importantly, what's inside these special facilities. That product is available completely free of cost. We've already been named the go-to app for airport delays and making the most of your time in the airport, and have been featured in over 300 major media publications around the world. We're also partnered with Concur, and they actually last year awarded us the Best Travel Innovation of 2014. If you are using Concur today, we actually have a deep integration with them, so you can actually pull all your trips from Concur into Lounge Buddy. You just download the Lounge Buddy app and sign in with your Concur account, and we can automatically sync your trips, show you available lounges, either for free or available for purchase, and then allow you to complete that transaction. And we actually just recently announced our corporate program, which gives special discounts and access to businesses who sign up with LoungeBuddy. While individuals, of course, can use LoungeBuddy, if you sign up as a business, you can get our app, of course, completely for free, regardless of if you sign up with us or just download the app. But what we can also provide you is a special discount that you can give to all of your employees in the form of a customized company branded code. For companies that sign up with us this year, we're giving a 15% rebate on all company transactions with no minimums, no commitments, basically no obligations whatsoever. In addition to this, for everyone that's on this presentation today, we're giving everyone a completely free visit to try out one of the lounges through the LoungeBuddy system. And I believe Jonathan or someone from the Acura team will be sending out a link to allow you to get that completely free visit so you can try us out. I think it's also important to note that the typical lounge cost for those that are purchasing access through LoungeBuddy is somewhere between $25 and $50. So similar to what you'd pay for a couple of drinks and a snack in the airport anyway for an all-inclusive and exclusive space it is an airport lounge, that is. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Tyler. Before we get on to our next presenter, we're going to try the polling system again, see if it's working here. Okay, doesn't seem to be functional today. Okay, with that said, we're going to move on to Chris Lapinto. He's from Expert Flyer. Let me get Chris set up. And Chris, you are all set to go.
Great. Thank you, David. Okay. So along the lines of empowering and educating business travelers, we have Expert Flyer, which has been a service that's been around in the consumer space for a little over 10 years now. And it's a research tool, an unbiased research tool actually, designed to empower business travelers and frequent flyers such that they can make better decisions on their own when they do come to the corporate travel agent, so as not to waste your time with non-productive questions. To be clear, we are not a booking or a meta search engine. We don't do any low fare pricing or show any deals per se. What we do is provide a unique service, non-commodity service to our customers, but more importantly, we do not compete with TMCs or travel agents in the traditional sense. So I'm going to go through a few of our features, our main features that would be most beneficial to your customers, and with a couple screenshots. So the first one, and our most popular one, is award and upgrade availability. For 40-plus airlines, we show the inventory of either using miles for awards or using mile certificates or status for upgrades. This is especially useful for American and U.S. Airways, where we show the hidden upgrade availability for status that you can't even see on AA.com. So it's one of those things that prevents wasted time on the phone with either corporate travel departments or airline agents, and takes some of the frustration out of traveling for frequent flyers.
You survived.
Along the same lines, we have flight alerts. So this is a really unique feature which compared with our award and upgrade availability, which displays the information, we now allow you to alert on it. So So a lot of times you'll have travelers who are, because of corporate policy, booked into a coach ticket, but really want to upgrade into business or first, whatever the case might be, but can't because the airline hasn't released inventory yet. So our flight alerts feature allows either you or the customer or the traveler to set an alert for the flight and the inventory that they want to allow for an upgrade or award or even for a regular fare class for that matter. And our system monitors it and then lets you know when it becomes available, taking the guesswork and the repetitive nature out of servicing your best customers. Here's a quick screenshot of what our award and upgrade results look like on our website. As you can see, the award and upgrade classes are plainly described and clearly shown the inventory for all of them. And here's a quick screenshot of the alerts page. We have a couple of other types of alerts, which I'll talk about in a minute. But again, very plain, simple, easy to use for the consumers and agents alike. On the seat side, that's another thing that we're really good at is we show seat maps for about 150 different airlines. I know this is a real pain point for even elite business travelers nowadays because so many, the loads are so high nowadays that so many good seats are either not initially available or only become available within a few days or even a few hours for the flight. So on the planning front, not only do we show the seat maps so they don't have to bother you to ask, well, what good seats are available on this flight versus that, but we also have a service called Seat Alerts, which will keep an eye on a seat map if no good seats are currently available. So let's say you want a window seat or an aisle seat, or the customer wants to sit in an exit row, or whatever the case might be. But of course, there's only, say, middle seats available. Well, what we do is our service will keep an eye on the seat map and then let you or the customer know when that better seat becomes available. And our system is smart enough to understand that if the traveler has elite status, that they can get premium and in some cases paid seats versus not. So we have 10 years of business travel intelligence under our belt with that one. We also have very cool mobile apps for seat alerts for both iOS, iPad, iPhone, Android that allows the traveler to be notified and to create their seat alerts on the go. Very useful for business travelers and even consumers alike. Actually, let me go back. One other new feature that we just added was a aircraft change alert. One thing that we found is that customers are getting frustrated when their seat assignments magically change because the airline changed the aircraft type at the last minute. So what we do is we can monitor that as well. And if the aircraft type changes, let you or the traveler know so you can keep an eye on which new seat you got assigned randomly by the airline and get a better seat when it becomes available. So all that works in conjunction together. So that's the flyers for both you and the traveler. So for agents, it helps you basically service your customers better, faster, using automated tools, easier than the GDS. And for those of you that are on Sabre and use the Sabre Red workspace, we have a Sabre Red app for seat alerts that integrates directly into the Red app workspace and reads your PNRs as you load them, so you can easily create alerts without having to type in segment information all over again. For the travelers, it allows the traveler to do preliminary research before they come to you and ask a zillion, well, what if I connect through this city, or what if I leave at this time of day, type questions. Reducing unproductive calls and conversations. Also, we have an affiliate program. So if this is something that you think your travelers would be interested in, you can sign up for our affiliate program, refer your customers, and make commission off of it as well. But of course, don't take our word for it. We've been written up in a lot of different publications. Some of them you may recognize. So you can read what the professionals or the traveling press has to say about us before you make any decisions. But of course, you can try us out for free. New customers get a 5-day free trial of our premium service. The premium service is what includes the flight, aircraft, and seat alerts. For those customers who wouldn't use it that often, we even also have a $5 a month plan that can be used as needed. And for the consumers out there, the free version, which allows you to create one seat alert at a time. So a very low-cost, high value proposition to help your business travelers be more effective and help you be more effective with eliminating non-producing conversations. So that's the fire in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Back to Jonathan Spear for some closing remarks.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Chris from Expert Flyer, and thank you, Tyler. Would like to, again, thank everyone here in the audience for taking the time to join us. We appreciate your time and interest greatly in learning about a topic that's very close, near and dear to our hearts, and we look forward to inviting you to the next Smart Tools event, probably in about a month from now. In the meantime, we will be inviting you to learn more about Accurate News for Enterprise and some other really cool things. So we'll be in touch. If you have any questions, you can contact me at jonathan.spira, S-P-I-R-A, at acuramediagroup.com. Again, thank you, and we wish you a very happy 4th of July. Cheers.
The meeting is now locked.